Okay, let's get the legal stuff open. As a primary matter, my name is Dave McDonald. I'm the current chairman of the Sewer Commission. I'll do a roll call to confirm that all members and persons participated on the agenda are present and can hear me. Mike,
Here.
John,
Here.
Brett,
Here.
Carl,
Here.
staff, when I call your names, please respond to the affirmative. Jack,
Present.
Barb,
Here.
and Jane, we know you're there. We see you. Good. Okay, good afternoon, guys. In accordance to the requirements of the open meeting law, please be advised that this meeting of the Sewer Commission is conveyed by video via the conference via the Zap app as posted on the town website identifying how the public may join. The meeting is being conducted remotely and is being recorded and can be found on the Lunenburg Access channel on YouTube within 48 hours of the presentation. Some attendees may be participating by video conference. Accordingly, please be aware that other folks may be able to see you, and that take care not to share your screen, your computer. Anything that is broadcast may be captured by the recording. The town of Lunenburg, in response to the COVID-19, is currently following the guidance of the Lunenburg Board of Health, Massachusetts Department of Public Health, and the CDC regarding the virus and steps communities can take to prevent the spread. And all town facilities are currently closed to the public in accordance with the governor's suspended certain provisions open meeting law. All public meetings are being conducted remotely in order which can be found posted at the town website on COVID-19. Information center pages accessed through the town manager's webpage allows public bodies to meet entirely remotely so that all reasonable public access is afforded so that the public can follow along with the deliberations and the meetings. Ensuring public access does not ensure public participation unless such participation is required by law. This meeting will feature public comment. So before we do that, Jack, is the DPW open or are we still closed to the public?
Closed to the public, Dave,
Okay. Is that going to
by
change?
appointment.
By appointment. Okay. So anybody listening out there, if they need to do something with the Board of Health, with the sewer, just give Barbara a call at the Sewer Commission office. Announcements. First thing before we even go to announcements, I want to congratulate Mike, Brett, and John. Congratulations on your stunning victory this weekend at the town meeting, the town election. I just wanted to say thank you, and I'm looking forward to working with all four of you guys to run this business and get it going. But again, thank you, John and Mike and Brett, for stepping up, and I appreciate it. And Brett, congratulations, you got the most votes, so you're all.
How about that?
Okay.
For some reason,
Thank you, Dave.
Oh, you know what, you guys, you deserve it. And I'm looking forward to working with each and every one of you. So the first thing we have on the agenda would be announcements. Barb?
Yeah, just to remind everyone out there that the Q3 due date was March 30th and Q4's, this is the sewer quarterly bill. Q4's due date was June 22nd. All bills must be paid by the 29th of this month, or interest will be applied from the day following the due date. If your Q3 bill has not been paid, interest from 3/31 will be assessed as of June 30. So, and for Q4 bills, interest will be from 6/23 on. Payments can be made online until July 5th, but interest will be applied at lunenburgma.gov or mailed into P.O. Box 135 Lunenburg or dropped at the drop box outside the DPW on Chase Road, number 520. Changing to the irrigation meter policy and the implementation date. The irrigation meters must be upgraded to be able to be read remotely as of September 1st to comply with the irrigation meter policy. If you don't plan to upgrade your meter to remote capabilities, please let me know at the office, 978-582-4160, extension 8. The meter program fees were due on the 4th. To receive irrigation credit on August's invoices. We've only received about half of what we need. Again, let me know if you don't want to participate. And we're going to have a discussion regarding changing the policy in regards to fee payment further down in the agenda.
All right, so you want to put this on the agenda for the next meeting? And take
It's
it up
on there. No, it's on further down.
for the work on, okay. Public comments. Any public comment from the public? I don't see any. Am I missing anybody? No. No. Okay, any public from the board? And again, I was going to go across the way we see it here on the Zoom screen, and that would be Mike. Any public comment, Mike?
Nope, not at the moment.
Okay, Mr. Luck.
Yeah, just two things. One, you did partially clarify the town office situation, but and Jack mentioned by appointment. I think all the town offices are open by appointment only, but they are open by appointment. So I just want to make sure people understood that. The other thing is I want to congratulate my fellow members here on the election. I think it broke all the records on write-in election ballot. So congratulations and well done, and should be a good year. So thank you all for stepping up. And that's it, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Reynolds.
I guess the only thing is I was sworn in this afternoon, so I guess I'm official.
Okay, that was going to be my next question, by the way. Mr. Ramson.
Oh, nothing more than I was shocked to hear there was a little over 500 people that showed up to vote.
You know, I was very proud of the town people. As you know, I was there passing out the flyers for the people to vote. And it was a really hot day, if you guys know it. So I was very proud to do that. And when I got the results that night, and Grant, I didn't think there was going to be that many people voting for us. So again, thank you guys for stepping up on this weird year. But the good news is you're not going to be there for a year. You only got up until next May. So everything goes back to normal next year, I hope. One of the things before we get into the meeting, Brett, I know your grandkids are up. You haven't seen them in 3 months. And I understand you want to leave early. I don't have a problem with that. Does anybody else have a problem with that?
Not at all.
You can stay on as long as you want to,
Good
but
decision.
yeah, so it's up to you, Brett. But I'm glad you're getting to see the chance to see the family. The family's more important at this time of year.
Thank you very much.
Okay, first item up for bid is current business is the elections of the offices. I'd like to get that squared away. I'd like to get that going into next year. So I'm looking now for a candidate of chairman. Does anybody have a roll call and want to put in for a chairman? We need a nomination.
You're looking for recommendations?
We're looking for a nomination, yes.
I would nominate Dave for chairman.
Dave Second.
Who? Dave McDonald.
Anybody else?
I second that. Beat me to it.
Okay, nobody else? You can have it. It's really. Okay. You second it? Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Start with Mike.
Aye.
Carl.
Aye.
Brett.
Aye.
And John.
Aye.
Thank you. We're looking for a nomination for vice chair. Anybody like to put a name out there for vice chair? Right now, we have Mr. Reynolds as vice chair.
I nominate John Reynolds for vice chair.
I second that nomination.
Okay, anybody else want to be vice chair? Bob. Just figure out throw your name out there, Bob. Okay. Any discussion? All in favor? Mike?
Aye.
Carl?
Aye.
Brett?
Aye.
And Mr. Reynolds?
Should I abstain or what?
No, you can vote yourself.
Oh,
Aye.
Thank you. That made me feel good, and I for myself. Jane, I hope you're getting all this down. We need a clerk position. I'm looking for a nomination of the clerk. Any nominations out there? The clerk presently is Brett. Anybody
Yes,
want to? Go ahead, John.
I would nominate Brett.
Okay, anybody else wants to be the clerk?
I'd second that.
Okay, any discussion? Okay, let's go around the horn. All in favor? Mike?
Aye.
Carl?
Aye.
Brett?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Aye for myself. There's your starting lineup for 2020 to 21. Thank you, guys.
All right.
And by the way, John, Mike, if you wanted to be the clerk, it pays like $1,000 a year. I don't think anyone told you that, right? Yeah. Oh, only kidding, guys, only kidding. Okay, first item on the, and again, Brett, leave anytime. First item on, I'm sorry?
I said, thank you. I'm probably going to sign off in a minute.
Okay, first item is the RFP status, station operation and maintenance. I know it went to council. I looked at it. Bob, you want to discuss it a little bit? Or Jack? Leave it up to you, Jack.
I just think I asked Barb today. Barb said you've had it for a little bit. I think the commission has done its due diligence. We had a number of votes on each and every item. We did send it to council. He made some changes, some substantive changes, yes or no, but definitely language. And that's the document you have in front of you now. I suggest that, you look at it favorably, since the council's last remarks are given by a gentleman who will likely have to defend it if the case arises.
Now, before we make a vote on this, I did look at it. I thought it was pretty cool. I mean, you're right. He's got to defend it, not us. So I hope everyone saw the RFP. It went from 20 pages down to the present, whatever it is. And let's go across the board and do a quick discussion, or I don't want to vote until everybody just is happy with it. And we'll start with Mike. Did you read that, Mike?
I believe I did. I'm just looking for it right now.
And just keep in mind that once this contract is done, we do have our own deadlines we want to do. So we want to get this executed, get it out for bid, and try to get the company, whoever comes on board, as soon as possible so we can move on with our lives and budget that. So Mike, if you have any questions?
I do not. Nope.
Okay, Mr. Luck.
Yeah, I have, I went through it in detail and compared it to the document that we had generated and that the council had come back with, and I think maybe Heather too, with a number of questions, suggestions, input. So I compared those two documents, and the first thing I'd like to say is that the new document is much better. It's much more concise. It doesn't have the redundancies. It has some things that we didn't think of. So it's certainly a much improved document. So there was some good work done. However, there are some things that are of concern. There are some things that did get left out. And what I would like to propose at the right time is I have made some notes on the prior, on the current version that I'd like to send people to help walk through this. So they're not just sitting there trying to figure out what section I'm talking about. So at the appropriate time, I'd like to hit button on that send so that everybody got a marked up document and we could walk through it.
I'd rather do it and this is going to go to the whole commission. If anyone has any questions or concerns, if they're written up, send them to Bob. Bob, give them to Adam for a quick review and see if they're valuable to put in. And let's go that way. But I mean, that's the way I would handle it. Anybody else have any questions about that?
Yeah, I do, Dave. I think if we just go back to, legal, there are some of these things that are really up to the commission, not really legal questions. There are some things that I believe got left out that we had in there that are quite important.
They're important. They're important for. And they would be important for Adam, not us. So if you want to.
No, Dave. They're important for us. I mean, there are requirements that are no longer in there that we had put in that have been taken out. And there's one, and maybe Jack or someone can help with this. I mean, there's a lot of what's taken out perhaps is covered in Appendix A or Attachment A, which there is none in the document that I have. Without having that document, I mean, that's where a lot of the meat is. And I don't have it, and I don't know where it is or how we get access to it. So I mean, we can do what you say. We can. I think it's just going to slow things down if we just take my notes and send them to council, because they really should be discussed among the commission, because the commission has to. The council would want to know where the commission stands.
You know what? I kind of disagree. I think we talked this to death. If you found something that's a change, I would send it over to Barbara, your notes, have Adam look at it, and then at our next meeting, bring it up so we can all discuss it. But the city,
I'm okay with doing that. I just, hate to drag the process out, but maybe Jack could help us or Bob could help us right now, because I don't have Appendix A. So you can't even review the document without the attachment.
It's coming your way. Sorry. It was just, we removed the Exhibit A was the checklist that had more of the detail of what we wanted checked at the pump stations.
Okay, good.
didn't we get that in the first thing? I thought I saw that.
Yeah, it didn't change, and I didn't include it in the next one, so I apologize for not resending. But you had received it at one point.
Okay.
All right, so you want me to send Barb my marks? I'll remove I'll review Appendix A first and see if there's any issues on
Yeah,
that.
take a look at it. Like I said, but we're not going to spend, I like the format of it. I think the commission worked hard to come out where it is. And we could nickel and dime this to death. It's not going to happen. So the best way to do it is get your remarks, Carl, which I appreciate you did and you have. Send them to Barb. Barb, send them to Adam, and let him decide if it's good for him.
Okay.
And look at it for you guys too, Jack and Barb, if you think it's good. Carl does.
Well, I think Dave. I think if we make this, and my whole point of not hitting send before was that if we distribute it during this meeting, if we distribute it to everyone, then it's a public open document and there's no violations, and other people could get to see and evaluate for themselves, because I'm sure council is going to come back and ask us, on things that are not purely legal, whether or not we want to make changes. So I think getting it to everybody is a good step, along with Barb sending it off to the council, but it's up to you.
Barb, would that violated open meeting law violation or no?
It's Carl's opinion. He's offering it during open meeting. We probably, I don't think it would hurt. And then I can't get your opinions back and do anything of them with council, but Jack and I can review them and send it off to council.
Hey, John, how do you feel about that?
I guess I'd like to see Carl's comments. So if Barb could distribute those to us and send it to council, I'm not sure I want to take the time to have an open discussion about his comments during the meeting.
Okay.
But I guess I would just like to take a look at what his concerns are.
Mike, what do you think?
I agree with what Jack's saying. Let's see what the changes are, and we can review them offline and come back and discuss it later.
Okay, Carl, can you take your notes and send them to Bob? Bob, you can distribute them.
Yep, doing it now.
And again, Carl, I'm not trying to shut you down, but take your notes. You're very good at picking up little things, but again, this one here is going to be up to the lawyer to defend us, not us. And this won't happen unless this is done correctly the first time it's done. Fair enough?
Yeah, that's all I'm trying to make sure is it's done right. And, legal is making decisions on legal, but there are content, service things that are in here. So I'm hitting send to Barb, and she can distribute it and get it to council. I guess just for Barb's sake, council's sake, if council has, because my notes were not meant to be, totally explanatory. They're meant to guide us. So if council has some question on what the note means or what it's referring to, I'd like to be able to have him contact me and at least, walk through the concern.
Okay, fair enough, Jack. You agree?
Yeah, sure. I mean, better to get it right. Better to have a unanimous decision. I really think you've all done a great job on getting this to where it is, but, let's push it over the goal line here.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. When I saw it, I was very proud and happy with it. It's, I think it's a good document for us to follow and for you guys to follow in the future. But Carl, like I said, let's get the notes over and let's tweak it a little bit. Let's go.
Yeah, and I want to be clear, Dave. As I said at the beginning, I think it's a great document. I think it's much improved over, the hard work we put into it. But as you say, I do want to make sure, as Jack says, we want to get it right, and there's some things that at least need another visit. So I'm hitting send now. Thank you very much. We can continue.
Okay, let's go. Next item. Bright Farm 361 Mass Ave proposed project and payment for sewer allocation. Barb, you're on.
I was contacted by the owners, the Lunenburg Nominee Trust people, that they're planning on a closing in July, and they wanted the payment figure. And it had been developed, that whole payment schedule had been developed with council. So it is with council. I'm going to let them know, hopefully in writing, what their amount due is. We assess them the full interest because Fitchburg is assessing us interest. So I believe we're getting back we're requesting the full amount with interest. And then if Fitchburg agrees to credit us some interest for the early payment of their portion, which is like $69,000, then we would pass that credit along. But how that's going to be done is up to council. They wrote it. So I need to have them help us figure that out with the new, either the sellers or the buyers.
Are we in the new fiscal year for our lawyer budget, or are we still working off of
We're
2000?
still in June,
It is what it is.
right?
Anybody have any questions on the LNT? Mike?
Did I receive any documentation on that? Or is that, okay,
Probably.
Yes, the payment allocation, it's called payment allocation or allocation agreement.
okay.
You should have.
Now, Mike, I understand you're new, and I don't ever want to overlook anybody who does have a question. So if you have any questions on anything, what comes to us, I mean, you're very intelligent. You pick up a lot of good things out of the last couple of meetings, and I thank you for that. But stop us anywhere along the way. And Bob, real quick, if you want to tell Mike what that is, the project.
The prior owners, behind Walmart is a big property. I don't remember the acreage right now, but they were going to put in 67 homes or 66 homes. And it started at the very beginning when Fitchburg was first putting in the sewer. And we allocated a certain amount of capacity for that development as things had changed along the way. And so when LNT decided to pull out of the agreement, they wanted to hold on to that allocation so that their buyer would benefit from sewer. So we had a whole agreement done up after years, and it only has been in place for about a year, and now they're selling it. So that's what that is for. Carl, you may have a better explanation or more details for it.
No, that was perfect.
Net. Okay.
That's Mike.
Thank
That's
you.
been going on for a lot of years, just so you
Yeah.
know. I mean,
Okay,
like 7 years.
okay.
But again, for you and Brett, and John's been on the commission before, so there is knowledge here. But anyways, please ask the question. Okay, Bob, you're up to irrigation meeting.
No, Mr. Chairman,
Yeah, go
I
ahead.
thought you were going to go around. I was waiting. I just wanted to comment that Barb's communication to the lawyer was very well done, very thorough. A lot of good thought went into it, and I just wanted to thank her, acknowledge it, and thank her for that.
Barb? Yeah,
Thank you.
very good, Barb. John, any questions?
No, it'll be glad to put this whole thing to bed.
Tell me about it. I agree.
I wish the new developer good luck.
Okay,
Mr. Chair,
just,
just if I could have one more comment, just to plant the seed for some future things. Assuming we get this paid off, it's very, very helpful because we get to put that in the bank. Come next budget season, the commission's going to have to really, or should, think about how to use that money. We're going to be paying for this over the next 20 years, 17, 20 years, whatever it's been. But the commission has the ability to use that money how it might. It's going to sit, I assume, Barb, in our what do we call it?
Retained
Capacity
earnings.
bank.
Yeah, retained earnings.
Capacity bank. So how much of it you use each year, is up to the commission. So you think about that prior to budget time, because it could be used to help the budget. But if you use it up, we're going to keep paying for it anyway. So just to plant that seed. Thank you.
We don't have the payoffs on everything yet anyway, so once we get the documentation, Carl, we'll figure it out. But I mean, I don't even know how that payoff is gonna work. Does anybody have an idea?
Oh, yeah, no, it works that if they sell, they have to pay it off. Whether it includes interest or not is the only, I think, big question outstanding, the full term interest. So they pay it off and we put it in the bank. Our debt to Fitchburg stretches over 20 years. So we're going to keep paying monthly, including interest, as Barb said, for that money. We don't get to pay it off early that I know of. This will test that, but we don't get to pay it off early. So that our payments to Fitchburg are going to last over the full term.
Well, you know what, we could also talk to Karen about what to do with it as well. But again, we'll hit that bridge when we get to it. Any other questions on Bright Farm? Okay, next subject is irrigation meters. Barb?
Okay. Just trying to, now that I've sent the fees, we've gotten 50% back. I've had a whole lot of activity today because we went out and Jack actually, thank you very much, Jack, in the DPW. We had to send some of their crew out and do the readings of the people that are not yet over to radio. So since Swiss has been always the ones to do it, we didn't have anybody and didn't want to use Al for it. So anyway, they have been out and dropping off requests for them, people to call in and report a reading. So there's been a lot of activity, but many have not paid their fees, and we don't really have it written into the policy how to handle it. And I sent you late this afternoon. I realized that I should probably give us a starting or a base. Potential updates to the irrigation policy that can deal with non-payment of fees, what our activities are. I'm proposing like 30 days, which is due, is July 4th approximately, that we send a letter, requesting the fee be paid within the next 30 days, or they will be withdrawn from the program, basically. So
Okay.
it's just we have no recourse right now on the policy of what to do if somebody does not pay their fee. What I want to say is if you don't pay your fee within 60 days of being billed for it, then you are considered withdrawn from the program.
How many people are we talking about?
We've received basically 31 out of 57 or something, somewhere around that. So
I want to throw this out there and get your opinion. You got the bill, the water bill before it goes to the meter, correct?
I get the water usage, right?
So if they don't pay or recommend a reduction, I would pay them the full amount of water going in.
Right. But that's basically saying that you're not participating in the credit program.
Send a notice out on the next bills and just say, listen, just for the people who have the meters, and say, if you don't pay, you're going to be charged full money. And
Yeah, well, they've been sent, they were sent a letter with the fee, and my next bill is not until August. And at that point, I would like to say if they would have had 60 days.
Yeah, like I said, I would let them know, try to figure out, let them know, and it's going to be a hot summer right now. I'm sure they're using water. But any thoughts on that by anybody, Mike?
No, I do have one question though. So let's say you have town water, but you've got septic. So, I mean, how is that going to work? So obviously you don't get any credits then if you have just basic septic.
Yeah, they're not one of our customers.
They're not one of our customers.
Right. Okay. Perfect.
Good question, though. Carl,
No, I'm good. Thank you. Is my hand
any
still up?
thought?
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I think that's a good catch by Barb to be real clear on late fees. We'll learn something. There may be more changes coming, but I think that's a good add to it.
Okay, John?
I agree. I think it's a good add to the policy. Yeah, because I mean, Barbara would have to go in after those who don't pay for months and months unless we put a little teeth in it. So I think it's a good change.
Okay. Bob, any opinion?
Yeah, if I can just read the changes and if you guys would approve it, we can process it as voted in. I just changed the title to Irrigation Meter Policy and Credit Program because I've been referring to it as a credit program because it is, and I just want to clarify that. And then in the section under meter requirements and fees, we're just adding 2 sentences. If the fee remains unpaid 30 days after it is sent out, a letter will be sent to each resident after 60 days. If the fee remains unpaid, resident will be removed from the program and no further irrigation credits will be processed against the sewer invoice. And maybe I should say until a new application is received and a new application and fee is received.
Or they would be charged the full amount of their water instead of, I would say if you don't pay your bill, you're going to get charged the full amount of water.
Okay.
mean,
A resident will be
really-
removed from the program and pay for the full water usage.
And until they start paying, yeah. I mean,
Yep.
if it was me, I would start paying.
Okay.
No.
So after 60 days, if the fee remains unpaid, resident will be removed from the program and pay for the full water usage. Correct?
Mr. Chairman?
I would say that. Jack, what do you think? Hold on one second, I'm asking Jack here. You're muted, Jack. There you go. You're okay.
I think this is clearly a policy issue, Dave.
Yeah.
I'm one for paying our bills in a timely manner. I know we're in a tough situation, so I think anything that the commission can do to cut people a short break, but nevertheless, we're running a business and after a certain period of time that you may designate, then they don't get the service. They don't get the benefit of the service.
It's their money they're wasting the way I look at it. You have a chance to get a credit. So if you don't want to give us the meter, that's fine with me. Mr. Luck, go ahead.
I just want to make sure I understand this. This 30, 60 days only applies to the cases where there's they didn't get $50 worth of savings. Is that true? I'm a little confused as to
Say it again, you're kind of blurbed out.
when are the this is strictly talking about the case where they don't save $50 worth that we can keep as the fee, right?
No, this is normally this fee should be assessed on the second quarter bill. If they did not pay that bill, number one. So that's why I wanted to write the policy so that it covered both whether it goes out on the quarterly bill or in this case, this year it was done more manually and they received a separate invoice. We will get the $50 fee if they are part of the program. Oh, you're right. So
Yeah, we don't invoice unless they don't have enough credits to pay us. I'm not sure when we invoice, so when does this kick in, Barb?
we can always add the $50 fee, though. There's going to be a minimum charge always.
Yeah, I mean, it goes on their, are you saying they don't pay their sewer bill?
Some people might. Some that go into the tax delinquency program at the end of the year. You know, that kind of issue.
Yeah, that's a much bigger issue than this $50.
My recommendation, Bob, is to take a look at it. I think you got a pretty full committee here saying charge the people the full amount of money, but work out the details before you send the letter, that it makes sense. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Barb, do you understand my because this is an automatic program, right?
Usually, not this year. In this instance.
Not this year. Yeah, this year is different. And so
So I'm
maybe
trying to write a policy to cover us. But if you can think, take a look at it. I was trying, but you're right. If we normally, it should have gone in Munis. I could not get it to work. It may not work next year. I have no idea. That's why I have no idea. But if we mail them an invoice and it's not paid, either whether it's on the standard quarterly invoice or on one of our manual mailings,
Do we have,
then they should not participate in the program.
Barb, do we have to update the policy? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, because we have nothing right now to say anything if they don't pay for the.
All right, so do me a favor, let's put it on the next agenda and we'll say a policy change.
Okay, but I wanted to send out a letter quickly to give them another 30 days to pay, or they won't have that credit on their August invoice.
I mean, everybody knows about I don't have a problem with that. Anybody have a problem with that? Sending it
No.
out?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have a problem sending this out. I'm not sure it's needed, but it can't hurt. So I wouldn't have a problem putting that in the letter.
Well, let's square this meter thing away to next, put it on the agenda for,
I mean, I read the requirements again, the meter requirements and fees. I mean, it sounds pretty straightforward. So, I mean, if you do have enough credits, if you're taking enough credits, the $50 will be taken away, will be withdrawn from the credits if you have enough. And if you don't have enough credits, then it'll just be tacked onto your annual second quarter bill. And if you don't pay it, if you have enough credits but don't pay the $50, then you kind of lose it after 60 days. It seems pretty straightforward.
Barb, any questions with that?
No, that's it. I maybe put too many words in it. I was just trying to cover why I was going to, that we wanted to send them a letter. But no, Mike's right.
I mean, I think we know what we're doing with this. Let's send out the policy to everybody, do your letters, and we'll just refine it at the next meeting and put it to bed.
Okay.
That sound good?
Yeah, I will.
I know you get wordy, but you cover everything quite well too. So let's just condense it, make a policy that we're all on the same page with it.
Okay.
Sound good? Okay. Any questions with that? Thank you, Mike. Carl, anything?
Nope.
I'm all set.
Okay, let's move on to the next one, which is year-to-date budget 20. What do you got there, Barb?
I sent it out today, processed more invoices or vouchers for FY20 bills today. Pretty much very similar to the last time we reviewed it. I do have a commitment that I'm going to ask for your vote on later on this meeting, that bumped up the revenues a little bit and then the expenses roll in, but it's still about the same $100,000 more for revenue than we have for expenses as it was for June 9.
Okay. Any questions with that, Mike?
Nope.
Carl?
Just, the one thing, I've been on this thing a long time and spent a lot of time on the budget, and there's one point that's I'm still not 100% clear, so it's more of a education. I'm probably not the only one not clear. So, Barb, when we get a budget passed at town meeting, we're essentially being authorized to spend a certain amount of money out of the sewer enterprise fund. Is that the right way to look at this?
Correct.
And so the revenue side is certainly interesting and important, but really what we're really marching to is the expenditures. And I remember that this started to dawn on me when one year we had excess revenues that we said, well, okay, we've got some more money coming in. And we said, no, you can't spend those excess revenues. It's really you only get to spend as much as town authorized you to spend, because more revenues doesn't mean we can spend more in that fiscal year. Is that correct, Barb?
That is correct.
Okay. So just so everybody understands, it may look like we've got $100,000 plus, and maybe we really do. But when we have extra revenues, just be careful. We're only authorized to spend what we said we'd spend. My only other comment, and I think I know why you're doing this, because I think we talked about it last time. We're putting in here the what we perceive and are being told is the legal fees based on the hourly billing. But in terms of what we're expending, it really is still at $5,000. So we need to capture what we really spend, because at some point we may have to up our budget or something. So we need to know what that number would have been were we on a normal hourly rate.
Okay.
But just to remind everybody, that 8,000, and as Dave said, we're still running the tab. That really doesn't go negatively against our expenses. It's only the 5,000 we committed to the town.
But right now, didn't we go to town meeting and say that we're gonna need to borrow some money for retained earnings to finish off the budget?
No, we passed over that because we are 100,000. That was if we had continued on the trajectory that we were. But because we weren't, it was passed over.
So, and we're gonna get into this in a second, but right now you got $100,000, which is not $100,000, because we still gotta square away SWS and that kind of stuff. But I think because Jack and Bob got the replacement company, you're gonna see some savings there for fiscal 2020. So if we kept SWS, I think that $100,000 would have been used up pretty fast. My opinion anyways.
Yeah. Again, Mr. Chairman, I think maybe the 100,000 is interesting, but I think the most important number is if you look at the grand total expenses. Right now, we're at, if I'm wrong, Barb, we're at 56,886 below budget.
Yes.
Right, Barb?
Yes.
Okay, so that's really what we can spend for the rest of the year before we start worrying. The 100,000 again is an interesting calculated number, but the number we've got to manage to is we've got 56,888 to the good that we can spend between now and the end of the fiscal year. So that's much more important than the 100,000 number.
And Bob, what's your projections on that?
Most of what I had, what I expect is already in there. I believe we may, end up with that much going towards, not that much, but the difference between revenue and expenses is what will go into retained earnings. So if it's not at this point, unless there is a purchase order in place that has been set up and goods or services ordered before now, that money will go into retained earnings. I don't have 56,000 that I'm expecting to spend between now and then.
Okay. Jack, your thoughts on the budget? Do I do that?
No, yeah, I don't know. It keeps going. I've been turning it off too. We're not going to, there are some things we might start. At this time of the year, it's always been my experience, the last week, we're basically a week. We have a week left in the fiscal year. We don't want to incur any expenses that aren't necessary. I mean, emergencies may happen. We don't want to open any new purchase orders. So on the 20th here, are we the 20th, the 23rd now? We're just going to slide, from my part of it, just slide into new fiscal year.
Very good.
Mr. Chairman, this occurred to me, in terms of encumbrances, Barb, do you have a projection of encumbrances? Because the party I&I won't be complete. So
Right.
aren't we going to encumber that?
Right. We'll have both the Woodard and Kern and the Wright Pierce finalization of their contracts on the encumbrances. I've got several. It's not at this point. I don't usually do it until the end of the year because it depends on what invoices I receive before the 30th. Definitely those two contracts will be because we know that they're still open.
Right.
But I have several. I have Unitil, I've got MP invoices I'm sure that will come in. So I'll see what I have to process all invoices for fiscal year 20 by the 6th of July. Anything I'm expecting that I don't get will be on our encumbrance form, and that is will be on the agenda for the 14th.
Great. Okay, so we have to look for, so the 14th, we'll talk about what's encumbered and what isn't.
Yes. Yep.
Great.
Okay, next one, EOY commitments. Go ahead, Barb. This is what you were talking about at the beginning of the meeting.
Yeah. Just final reads happen when someone sells their property. We do the final reading between whatever the last bill, reading date from the water departments are till the date of the closing. and that way the buyer doesn't pay for the seller's usage. So we have a total of $761.32. The form is waiting in the pile. It will be waiting in the pile as long as you approve it. But I would like a vote just to approve the commitment of $761.32 so that I can send it off to the accountant's office, and the collectors need it in order to process payments.
Need a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to move that we approve the encumbrances of, I forgot the number, Barb, can you fill the number in?
$761.32.
That's what I move.
Okay.
Can we
Second.
second that?
You got a second? Any more discussion? All in favor? Mike?
Aye.
Carl?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
And I for myself.
Okay.
Okay, Leominster IMA billing changeover. So this is what I like to do. I'm gonna bounce this guy's off you. I like to set up a meeting, and Jack, I might need your help on this. I like to set up a meeting with Roger. Not a Zoom meeting, a personal meeting, sit down, either outside in front of your DPW or outside in front of his DPW where we can talk. Can we make that happen?
Yes. You just give me some times and dates when
I think now,
you're available, or
let's do it now. And if we can do something, I got 3 or 4 ideas in my head to talk to him about, but if it's open, maybe we can talk to him, and if we had to, we could talk to the mayor. I think if we ask Roger personally, actually to help us, let's see what we can do. There's a lot of ways we can do this. And I know, Carl, you talked to Roger, and you did what you did, and you did a good job, but I think it's worth one more shot as a business person, come up with something. And Jack, maybe you and I can sit down and just go over the strategy, what I like to do.
sure.
Does everyone on the board have any questions on that, or could you let me know if you accept me to do this?
I certainly support it. I'm glad you want to do it as soon as possible. So good job and good luck.
See what happens. Mike?
I support you, Dave, and if there's anything I can do to help, let me know.
I'd like to have you probably be in on it, just to get that exposure. And that's something that we could talk about. And if anyone has any questions, let me know. John, your thoughts?
Completely support it. I think it's a great idea.
I think if
And
we,
as he said, the sooner the better.
yeah, I think if we start looking at him as a partner, that might be a best way to go. Again,
Right.
just my opinion. We may end up not going anywhere. We may end up going back to what we were talking about for the last 2 years, but at least it's a shot. And I say, let's take a shot at it anyways. So Jack, if you can work it out, is Roger retiring, by the way?
Roger is retired, but he's
Consulting.
working the different, yeah, consulting. This is Leominster, when they have a long-term employee retires and he gets 60, 70, 80, whatever percent of his pay, they typically will hire an important individual for the amount of time that equals the difference in his retirement. So Roger's in that mode. He doesn't work every day, but he works as needed.
Okay, and like I said, if you can do it, we'll even go out to lunch or something.
I don't think we can do that.
Well, they have outside talk, right?
There's money in the budget, right?
There's money in the budget. You got your hand
If
up?
I may, I did talk to Roger not too long ago, and he did mention he's down to 1 day a week, and they have hired his replacement. So he's on his way finally. I think they finally hired someone to replace him. So
Jack, before he leaves, maybe we can get a commitment between
Yep.
you and him. But let's plan something as soon as possible. Keep me in the loop, and Mike, I'll keep you in the loop. And
Okay, yeah, let me know.
okay, oh God, I don't believe I'm saying this. Grease traps. What's up with grease traps?
We still have them?
yes, we do.
Bob, go ahead.
They're coming up for their annual renewal. I just wanted, I need to send out letters ASAP. And before I did, I needed to verify with the commission that we want to hit to assess fees on our food service establishments after this COVID crisis, and I just want to give thought to it. Some people, if they are non-compliant, could be billed up to $650 or $450. So I just wanted to make sure you wanted me to do that.
I like to throw this out there, let you guys think about it, but as a businessman with these restaurants, I have no problem waiving the fees for a couple of months to help these people out. I think I think they all need help. And we're not talking a lot of money here in Lunenburg. But I would write a letter and say, it's the Sewers Commission's feeling that during this COVID-19, I mean, some of these people are just barely making it. That's my opinion. But let's go around the wall. Let's go around the room. Mike, your thoughts?
I agree with you, Dave. I mean, the smaller businesses need help right now. So whatever we can do to help them out, and let's try to keep everybody in business. I agree to that.
Carl?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea, Dick.
John?
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. These restaurants didn't do anything wrong and they had to close down. So I think as much as we can help them, we should.
Jack, any comment or opinion? You there?
Yeah. Yeah, anything we can do, that's policy, and I support that idea. Tough time for lots of people.
So Bob, why don't you take that, write a nice letter to these businesses and tell them that the sewer commission is going to waive all fees. You want to make it for 90 days? Does that sound good, Bob?
I think that's very good. Yeah, we'll revisit if there's a round two. But at this point, I think that sounds great.
Okay. Carl?
So no, so I got confused. I thought we were going to waive the fees for the year. What were you proposing, Dave?
90 days.
What does that mean? A quarter
A quarter.
of the fee, or it's not a monthly fee?
Is it a quarterly fee?
No,
It's an annual fee.
Annual.
Annual fee.
And waive it for the year. Yeah. I would waive it for the year.
That's what I was. I was agreeing with that. That
I
one.
forgot what it was because we actually wrote the policy on these grease traps and I try to forget it. So
It's about a $5,000 piece of our budget. We'll just have to manage.
well, I would say that's what I'd like to do. So let's take a vote on it. First, I need a motion. Can I have a motion out there?
I make a motion that we waive the, what do you call them, Barbara? The grease trap
Annual
fees?
permit fees for grease trap.
The annual permit fees for grease traps for this year,
For this year, okay?
Which is FY21.
FY21. Thank you.
Second.
Yeah. It was a second for your discussion. I'm trying to think of how this devil's always in detail, how this gets implemented. Haven't they already paid these fees?
No, I haven't sent out, no one's sent them in. They're due by August 1st
Okay.
at the latest,
Good.
so it is a part of fiscal year 21.
Okay, good.
Okay. Any more discussion? All in favor? Mike?
Did anybody second that?
Carl did for discussion.
Okay. I agree.
Okay, Carl?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
And I for myself. Bob, if you can send those letters out as soon as possible, that would be great.
Yep.
Okay, everybody look at the minutes for 6/9. There's a revised one that was sent today.
And the only revision was that it needed to be noted as a Zoom meeting, so the body of it remained the same.
I'm looking for a motion to accept.
I make a motion that we accept the minutes from the 6/9/2020 Sewer Commission meeting.
Second.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All in favor? Mike?
Aye.
Carl?
I abstain. I didn't get a chance to read them, sorry.
Okay, John?
Aye.
And I for myself. Okay, business management reports. Go ahead, Bob.
Just for the minutes of the meeting, I just wanted to state that the town meeting articles passed at town meeting on the 13th. The one article regarding FY20 was passed over about needing to pull any monies from retained earnings to cover the expenses of FY20. But the three budget articles, general budget, the stabilization funds for capital reserve, and OPED passed. So I just wanted to make note of that. 1170 Mass is, the document has been all notarized, recorded, etc. And Michael Ray just wanted me to convey his thanks to the commission for seeing this through to a positive resolution. And then lastly, I have invoices for review. I have a Woodard and Curran invoice for $11,161.14. That was received on the 15th. And let's just see if it spells out. Completed the analysis of each pump station, evaluated trends of potential I&I, prepared materials for the interim meeting. So I did, if everyone's okay, I will process that for payment.
Okay, do you want to vote on that?
I just need a nod, I think, if anyone has an issue.
Carl, we'll go with you on this one. You have an issue?
Nope, not at all.
Okay, Mike?
Nope.
I think I lost Mike at all. There you go, Mike.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I don't have an issue.
Okay, John,
No, go ahead and pay.
go ahead and pay it.
12,000 remains on the contract, so there's still more to come. The other one is just our standard monthly City of Fitchburg invoice for the time period 4/26 through 5/25 for $11,308.74.
Same thing, I don't have an issue. Mike? For Fitchburg,
I don't have an issue.
Carl,
Nope, okay.
John?
Go ahead and pay it, Barbara.
Dope.
Okay.
Great. And I am on vacation next week, just FYI.
It's unacceptable.
Is that 4th of July weekend? No, the weekend after, right?
What?
This weekend, how many weeks until 4th of July? Is that 2 weeks from?
That's the week prior to the 4th.
Okay.
This is my annual
Yeah,
camping excursion.
You all gonna go up there and be socially distanced, Barb?
Oh, Vermont's very strict, I'll tell you.
And you'll have to quarantine when you come back to Massachusetts.
That's right. Luckily, they're tracking our counties and seeing how we're doing. I'm hoping we get in the acceptable level.
okay, on the members' agenda input for future meetings, we're gonna change things up, guys. This is kind of like, I need your input, and Bob, maybe you can talk to Jack about this tomorrow, and I know Brett will go along with what we're gonna be doing here. I know in a business you have goals, and I'm not gonna sit here and say, okay, let's do goals. I mean, it's a business, we gotta run the business. But instead of using the word goals, I wanna use, how can we be more efficient? For example, we gotta look at the budget, and I wanna scrap that whole budget thing and go to a new form on budget so we can all understand it. Again, in business, the more information sometimes, and Carl, I know you're not gonna agree with me on this, you can still have the cheat sheets, but for us to sit down and have meetings with the public or with anyone else, I like to make it more simple. And does anyone have comments about that? We'll start with Mike.
I think the simpler the better. That way everybody can look at it quickly, and we can easily reference subjects that we want to talk about. So I think it's a great idea.
Okay, Carl?
I mean, a higher level document is fine, but we clearly need the detail and the subcategories for capturing costs so that it's easy for Barb and for us to dig down once we don't like it at the high level.
I think what we got to do is do a form with John asked Barbara how much we paid Fitchburg for sewer this year. He has a number right off the bat, nothing combined or anything. I think we got to take a look at it, and it'll probably be a workshop when we can start seeing each other face to face. But I think that's one of the high priorities that we got to do now. John?
No, I agree. I think we should try to simplify it as long as the backup data is available there to, if we need to discuss any issues and drill down, that's all.
Yeah, oh, I mean, that's, again,
Right.
talk guy, so that's one thing I like to do. The other one is, I'm into expanding sewer. I would like to sit down and talk about how do we get more customers online. I know there's some properties going on, and Barb, you and I talked a little bit today about Leominster Road, there's a property, there's another one over on Kimball Street. If I'm not mistaken, that's not attached, it's for sale now. But I'd like to take a look at Chase Road going up to Townsend. I think could be a real gold mine for the town if it's done right. Now, we may need grants or something, but it'd be awfully nice to get sewer down in that road. Just not only to help the people there, but to expand the business in that area. And again, quick thoughts on that, Mike? We're only
Good idea.
talk, so,
No, I think it's a great idea, Dave. I think expanding the sewer district is going to be beneficial to the financial gains of the town. And, if we can do it as efficiently as possible, I think we should definitely reach out.
Carl? Your thoughts, Carl?
Yeah, I have a lot of them. I'm glad you bring it up because, with so many new members, I wish Brett was here too, but I think expanding it where it helps the town is very good. And I do know that down Lonnie, when that down there, they were looking for some commercial development, and the sewer commission had originally planned to have that in the sewer service area to support, and then a commercial area. I do want to remind everybody though that the reason that one of the big drivers to creating this commission separate from the BOS was the BOS and the sewer plan of the town was to basically sewer the town. And the residents were very, very, very worried about that and actually stopped going into the phase 2 of the original sewer. Sewer is probably the most certain way to ruin the character of the town. It allows development, which is too dense, more dense than, people live here because they like the rural atmosphere. They, like the open spaces. Sewer is proven to work in the opposite direction and to negatively affect the character of the town. And before you know it, you've got big developments that are very dense, because sewer allows density. That's the biggest problem with sewer. It also ships all the water out of town, which is not ecologically sound. So where it makes sense for the town is some commercial, but in the residential application, it really doesn't. It's much better for many, many reasons, not just the character of the town, but also the which is people's value, quite frankly, but also for ecological reasons to keep the water in town. The water comes out of our local resource. It's not like we're bringing water from out of town and we send the sewerage out. So there's all kinds of reasons, and the public at least 10, 14 years ago was pretty strong that sewering the town was a negative thing. Where there's individual, extended a little bit here or there because of hardship, then that's what we're here for. But to encourage development and build this is not, sewer is not meant to be a growing business. It's probably the worst kind of business to run. It's a business that's a break-even business that you want to break even without having to grow and and negatively affect the town. So, as long as you're looking to fulfill all those goals of the town, then that's good. But if we're looking just to enable development and expanse and shipping water out of town, then I certainly am against it.
Okay, so, well, you really know how to squash a dream, huh? Jeez.
Well, I'm hoping you're as we have, we've helped some people out that couldn't get sewer, and sewer was close by, and we had a couple come in a little while ago with that kind of a situation, and they're not in the sewer service area, but maybe there's a way. I think that's I think that's our job, but our main job is to try to provide a good service and keep the cost down for our users and not negatively impact the town.
But I think if we could, again, these are all ideas that I like to look into.
Mhm.
We can look at the numbers all day as a commission, though, and if you guys really want a definition of what we're doing, you can look at the charter, and I suggest you do look at the charter, guys, and I'll say that to Brett as well. Our job is to really oversee the sewer commission, but they're running it. But on the other hand, I'm in favor of more sewer in certain spots. I don't think it should be all over town. I think it should be in the business district, which is what Chase Road is. But what happened 14 years ago, I think our population, if I'm not mistaken, was somewhere around 7,000 or 8,000. Today, we're over, what, 11 to 12,000 people. Times have changed. Conveniences, though, people like to come out here for the rural area. They can still have it, but I know a lot of people who move out here would like to flush their toilets without worrying about a septic. So I think what I'm saying is that it wouldn't be a bad idea for us to come up with a plan, look at it, make sure we follow our, the book there, Carl, what do you call that? What's the book called? I forgot what it's called.
Comprehensive wastewater plan.
That's it, the comprehensive wastewater plan, and see what we can do. But we can also encourage people that are on the lines now to join in too.
Correct.
Maybe we should be doing a letter saying if your septic is having a problem, we can tie in. I mean, anything like that. And that would help the people too. I bet you a lot of people don't even know the sewer's in front of their house. So I think maybe a little campaign of, if you're on the line, if you're interested, give us a call. So these are all ideas that I like to do. And I'll be honest with you, I think we got an excellent committee, and I'm looking forward to working with everyone who's, like I said at the beginning. But I like to have some a little bit of fun with this too. I mean, it's not just a dollar in, a dollar out. We can do a lot for the town and for the people. Again, my opinion. John, your thoughts?
Well, I have mixed emotions about expansion, but I think it's definitely something we need to talk about.
Like I said, it's only talk. These are some of the things that we like to do. But the main thing is we got to look at the business. And the number one priority, what I want to do is look at our business and what can we do to make the director's job easier. And when I say director, I'm talking to Barb. And if we have to redo some of the things to make the job easier, less time consuming, let's take a look at that. Even if we have to spend a little bit of time with you every once a week or something. But whatever we can do to make our jobs simpler, effective, and efficient for our people in Lunenburg. So that's my kind of goals, what I like to do with the commission as going forward. And I'm looking forward to it. So with that,
Mr. Chairman?
I was going to say we're going to
Just on the, what you reminded me of one manager report thing that I'd like to hear from Barb on, in terms of saving work and making it more efficient, is the issue we have with the billing list that we're going to talk to Heather about getting.
I have not yet. It's on my list.
Okay.
It's been a busy month.
make it a priority one. So with that, I'd like to go to public comment. Let's start with Mike. And you're on mute, Mike. I can't unmute you. Can you unmute yourself?
No, I'd just like to thank everybody for their support. Thank everybody for allowing me to be part of this committee and voting me in. And I look forward to working with all of you, and hopefully we can make things a little bit more efficient, and hopefully we can expand the sewer to a rate that doesn't negatively affect the city, but will bring in maybe some more revenue to the town. So I'm here to do whatever I can do to help, and I'm looking forward to working with all of you.
Thank you. Carl?
Yeah, just one thing I thought of, and this won't be the last time you probably hear it from me on the subject of extending sewers. We lived in Harvard for quite a while, and we were involved in the town government. And the one principle that Harvard had to protect their character and the value of their properties was a conscious decision not to sewer any more than necessary. So they've only sewered the very downtown area and schools. And there are several communities that understand this and are protecting their quality of life, so to speak, by being very, very careful good sewer, which I'm sure everyone here wants to do.
Okay, good. John?
Mike, welcome aboard. Thank you for stepping up. And I guess not so much a comment, but a question. Does anyone know what kind of attendance there was at the town meeting?
The unofficial number that I got is 561.
Town meeting? No.
Town meeting.
Oh, no,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
John, my understanding from the Board of Selectmen meeting, I think Phyllis asked this question, it was, I believe it was 62 or 64 people. And by the end of the meeting, it was 57 or so. And quorum is
That's
50.
more than many.
No, one quick
We
comment.
should have gone.
I did go to town meeting, and it was strange, and I got to thank Kathy Eric, Kathy for doing all the things she did as far as setting up for safety for the people. Everybody wore a mask. I was in one row, all by myself. There was nobody in front of me and nobody behind me. A lot of people went up above though, but it was good. It was productive. I really like it when they put all the articles together. I thought that was great, and I hope they do that in the future. Because we didn't have to get up and say anything. And I left around Article 20, I want to say, and it was just about done, I thought. And then the earth removal one came up, so I think they talked about that for about an hour. So I left around 11:05 or something. I know a couple of people followed me after that because it was only the earth removal left, which I thought was going to fly right through, but I guess it didn't. So, but Kyle's correct with the numbers. I want to say it was 62 people that were there, but it was very good. And I just want to make it clear that I appreciate all the people who stayed home as well. I was going to be one of those people, and I just crowds still kind of scared me a little bit. And you all know what I do for volunteerism in Fitchburg, and you got to watch what you're doing because all you need is one person to sneeze on you, but you also got to live your life. And I can't live the way it's been, so you got to get out. And I appreciate. I know Kyle, you and Phyllis are, what's the word? Staying home, right? Which I understand. So a lot of people that I know didn't go, but it was successful. And hats off to everybody. And the same thing with the election. I mean, I was shocked that we had 561 people come out and vote. And that was a good day, considering that there was no caucus. And I think you all seen the results. And for anybody who hasn't, go to Lunenburg, where is it called? The town of Lunenburg, the Facebook page or the website, and the results are there. But it seemed like everybody took those sheets and used them. And I can't thank the people enough for coming out and doing it. I was very proud of Lunenburg on Saturday. It was a nice thing to do. But what else, John? Anything else?
No, that's it.
Okay. The last thing I want to say is I really wanted to thank all the people who came out and voted. That means a lot. It means a lot that Mike got elected. It meant a lot that Brett got elected. I can't thank the people enough for voting for me and for voting for Mr. Reynolds. But there was a lot of doubt of how the town voting was going to go. And it turned out, really, with everything going on, be proud of your town because they did a nice job. So that would be my comments for tonight. And I'm looking for a motion to say goodbye.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
I second that.
All in favor, Mike,
Aye.
Carl,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
I for myself. And I should stop the recording. Good night, Lunenburg, and guys, thank you very much. Look
Thank
forward
you.
to you.
Good night, Dave. Take
Happy
care, everybody.
4th.
Good night, everybody.
See you on the 14th.
Yes, July 14th.
Okay. I'm just stopping the recording. Thanks, guys. Okay, have a good night, guys.
You
See you
too.
later. Take care.